I'm Foxxeel and welcome back to another Age of Wonders guide video where we have the Vanguard and Wojtek, probably one of my favorite combinations, if not my favorite combination. So in this playthrough we had turn 84 and we had AI Extreme and we defeated the whole thing. It's probably my fastest playthrough. The build was a lot more effective than I thought it would be. But we're going to go through what I would call the Void tank, purely because the build is centered around the tank. Half your army is going to be a tank and the other half is going to be support units to keep the tank alive. By army I mean stack. So this is a 6 stack. Ideally I would have 3 tanks and 3 support units. Every hero, by the way, is on a tank. So we go to this, heroes. If you can see tank all down here, the only reason this hero doesn't have a tank is because they died and I brought them back to life late in the game and they're not strong enough to actually unlock the tank, so that one doesn't count. Alright, so I'm going to go through the technology, I'm going to go through the society tech you use, the military tech, then I'm going to go into the units, the mods I gave them, then I'm going to talk about how I combine those mods and how I decided on these armies and why. So we'll start with the society tech. So with society tech, firstly I would start by showing you the doctrines. These are the doctrines I use late until the end of the game. I would say in terms of priority, planetary conquest to give you approving at least. Quantum energy tapping, 20% is good for energy. Hearts and minds I didn't use until I was trying to absorb things late into the game. Echo protocols is the more colonists you have, kind of the better it does. It's not a terrible doctrine, but it's not great. It's okay. The other doctrine I would mention is that I used Frontier Survival for about half of the game, maybe, purely because I was just trying to grow my colonies quickly, and the earlier you use it, the more it kind of benefits you. Colony Militia also is very powerful, but I never really needed it. Although I'd say in terms of priority, these two could definitely replace some of these other maybe these two here, or Hearts and Minds, depending on how you use them. So let's go to military tech. So I'll give you the order of how you should be building this build. So first thing you want to do is you want to unlock nanite. Then you want to unlock electromagnetic. Straight after electromagnetic, you want to go straight to your tanks. Straight after your tank, you want to go straight down to your void tech and unlock your phase manipulator. Straight after, sorry. Straight after your tank, you want to unlock non-refracting. So tank, non-refracting, then go down to phase manipulator. Then once you finish phase manipulator, finish your laser, unlock laser to the end. Then unlock, after your laser to the end, go to Vanguard, unlock Vanguard to here, at least here. I would stop here because you don't need these mods until later in the game. After Predator conditioning, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. Like, actually, after you get tank, phase, and non-refracting, you're free to do whatever you want, but I just recommend finish laser, finish Predator, unlock drone, and then unlock whatever else you want. Because the build, all you need is tank, phase, and engineer. Now, why I said that specific order, I'm going to get into. I'm going to go through all my units, what mod I gave each unit, and why. So we'll start with the infantry trooper. Infantry, I did not build a single trooper. I lie. I might have built 1 or 2 in the first 10 turns, but ideally I would want all my engineers to replace all my infantry. So if I go back to my army, I don't have these infantry here. I got them because I unlocked them. I was given them by finishing the Emperor, which gives you like a free army. So these ones don't count. So yeah, I didn't produce a single infantry unit after turn 20. The reason is they don't scale well for your army, and I'll get into that once I get into the engineers. The Vanguard Walkers, very powerful unit. I didn't make a single one. Part of the reason why I didn't make infantry is because the same reason I didn't make walkers is because they have kinetic damage. Kinetic damage is perfectly fine, but when I make tanks, I focused on laser, and it was more efficient to stick to units that have laser damage. That said, engineers don't have laser damage, but the reason why you want to focus on the engineer and not the trooper or the walker is that the engineer has other abilities which are extremely powerful for your army. Now, with an army focused on tanks, remember Void Tank, you have this ability here, which is Repair Tools, which is 30 heal for any unit that's mechanical or cyborg. Can't heal in bio, so it kind of puts the bio out. So that's one main reason why you replace these units with your infantry. Second reason is targeting calibration, +1 range, very powerful, plus 30% accuracy, also good, helps you hit those shots. And the other reason why you have engineers, there's 2 more actually. Place a turret, free turret. I think it's 30 health that the turret has, so it's either going to do damage or it's going to take damage, and if you're doing 30 damage to a turret, you're not doing 30 damage to another unit, so powerful. And lastly, mechanical recovery. So in your strategic turn, a strategic turn is your this turn up here, I'm pretty sure. It just helps you heal better. So in terms of your mods, the mods for the trooper, only give them the tier 1 mods, so nanite, rail, and ammunition. Pretty much you put nanite on everything, just to put it out there. Nanite, amazing mod, keeps you alive. This mod gives you a bit of range, this mod gives you more kinetic damage. In terms of your engineers do not really need damage, so all I gave them was nanite, this for range, and this just helps you walk through obstacles. Not really that great, but 15% harder to hit, relatively cheap, keeps them alive. The engineer just has to stay alive. If it can do a bit of damage, why not? I'm pretty sure rail gives +1 range to your turrets, but I haven't tested it. So if you do know, does rail give bonus range to your turret, let me know. But if it doesn't, you could swap rail out and do something else, but you just want them to stay alive. Next, we have the MVP of the army, which is the laser tank. So the laser tank, again, all your heroes should be getting a laser tank, which means all your heroes need the skill of advanced piloting, but I'll go into the heroes after I finish the units. So your tank, its abilities: deploy smoke, lets you have obscured for two turns at 1 range. Overcharge laser cannon. This is massive impact. It's important. Massive impact means you're pretty much going to stagger almost everything, unless the things that have stagger immunity. So if there's something that has, like if you're shooting a sniper and you can't kill that sniper, you use overcharge to make sure it can't use its sniping abilities. And laser cannon is a repeating damage attack, so fairly decent. In terms of your upgrades, the first thing every tank you want, ideally you want to give it these upgrades here: nanite, shield breaker. This disables 2 shield per hit, so it pretty much removes 2 shield every hit. So if you hit something 3 times, you're going to remove 6 shield. Most things in the game don't have 6 shield, so you pretty much put a shield down to 0. This mod over here, this ignores 2 armor. Now this destroys shield or disables shield, and this ignores it. So this doesn't actually destroy the shield, so other units hitting it are still going to hit it as if it had that much armor. The charred, this means it might do a bit of bonus damage. It weakens their resistance to laser damage. Not that great. I kind of more want it for ignoring the shield. Ignoring the armor, sorry. In terms of cost, this unit will cost you 50 cosmite. 20 cosmite for the tank, 30 cosmite for the upgrades. 50 cosmite is just kind of easy to remember, so if you have 50 cosmite, try and build the tank with the upgrades, it's well worth it. The other thing is that in terms of your mods, after you unlock the tank, you want to put the plasma on the tank as soon as you can. Plasma it destroys 1 armor. It's important. It doesn't ignore armor, it destroys. So now every time you hit a unit, you're going to disable 2 shield and you're going to destroy 1 armor. The other thing plasma does is it has a low chance to disintegrate. Tier 1, Tier 2. Now disintegrate means that unit will die instantly, and it also means there's no corpse. No corpse is really important because a lot of other races have the ability to bring back units by resurrecting their corpse. If there's no corpse, then guess who they're bringing back? Absolutely no one. So important mod, good damage, removes armor, powerful, but you still have nanite. Now why I point out you still have nanite, keep nanite on all of your tanks until you are able to have 1 tank per support unit. So remember how I was talking about the stack? So this is a stack here. So it's my main hero. So this is 1, 2, 3 tanks and 2 support units. Ideally I wouldn't really want a pug. I'd prefer, what's a better example? We use this example here. This one. This has got 3 tanks, engineer, and for this instance I count the drone carrier as a support unit because it can heal. It can obviously do more than heal, but for the sake of argument, once you have 3 support units per, 1 support unit per tank, sorry, remove nanite and give them another upgrade. I'd give it an offensive upgrade. Usually my 3rd support unit is this. This is a better stack, so you have 3 tanks, either have 2 engineers or 2 phase manipulators. Generally I try and have 1 engineer and 1 phase manipulator just to kind of have a, it's good to have. You can have a laser turret or you can have the ability to pull your tank away. So the phase manipulator is better in terms of defense, sorry. This is more of a defensive support. This is more of an offensive support. So what was I up to? Engineers. The other thing with engineers, back to engineers. I should have said, when you unlock the missile turret, definitely put the missile turret on your engineer. Sorry, I kind of skipped my back to engineers, just have to point that out. Back to tanks. Once you have 1 support unit per tank, get rid of your nanite. You have a lot of options. I'd strongly suggest getting sequential kill, because that extra action point per turn is very powerful. But if you do, there's a very unique circumstance which I only discovered in this playthrough, is that you can have, this would be my ultimate tank build, laser tank. So you have plasma, which is, I've already explained in the past, like it was long, couple minutes ago, sequential kill, 1 action point if you kill a unit. Very powerful because you can use that action point to do overcharge. So I mean, if you want to kill a unit using a repeater and you have another action point and you haven't used overcharge, definitely do that. And this unit over here, this mod over here, so SciTech Modular. So you don't actually have access to this mod. If you take over a colony that is the Syndicate, you can go into the Syndicate, you can research all the way down here to the very last mod. Now again, you have to have quite a lot of research. This is like much later in the game, but what this mod does is, go back to the tank, is it has it's stagger immunity, which is pretty awesome. Whenever this unit uses an ability, they heal for 10 HP and they gain 15% damage. And this is where it gets really powerful. If you kill a unit, if it says your turn and you attack the unit, right? Once you do that attack, even if it's a repeating attack, that attack will give you 10 health, 15% damage. If you kill a unit, however, you get another action point. So the first time you use an attack, you get 1 stack of this, 15% damage. The second time you use an attack, you can, so if you, again, I mean, it's the same turn, right? You've killed a unit, now you have 1 extra action point due to this mod. When you attack a second time, which you don't have to attack, but I'd strongly recommend you attack, you'll get another 15% damage. Now, if you read this, it says you heal for 10 per action. Whenever this unit uses an ability, they heal for 10 and they gain 15% damage for 3 turns. Now, as far as I'm aware, the damage stacks. Like you can stack it up to 3 times. So you can get up to 45% damage, but plus 10 heal doesn't stack. I don't know if that's the case. I just didn't really take more than 10 damage once I had this mod unlocked. I was winning by that much. So if you do want to test it out, let me know if it does stack. If you can get 30 heal per turn and do per action and then do 45% damage, that's really, really stupid. So how you use this tank once you have this mod. It's the first turn, move this tank somewhere where it can't be hit, use Deploy Smoke. Using Deploy Smoke will activate your first proc, your first stack. So you get 10 health and you get 15% damage. When it's your turn again, turn 2, use this here, use this tank, shoot it. As soon as you attack, you get another stack. And if you kill something, it's turn 2 again, attack again, and you have your 3rd stack. So by the end of the second turn, ideally you should have, you would have healed for 30 HP, assuming that the 10 HP can't stack. You would have gained a bonus 45% damage by the end of that turn, and you would have already killed 2 units. This is 1 tank. If you have 3 tanks in your stack, you can do this with each tank. So you can kill, ideally, each tank will have 45% damage. It will have at least 1 kill, ideally 2. So within turn 2, you can kill 6 units, 45% damage on each tank, and you have 3 units to make sure those tanks don't die. And this is where the tank starts to become really, really, really powerful. So now that we've talked about the tank, we're going to talk about who's next in the list. Tank, I didn't make a single gunship. The pug, the only pug that I have is the pug that I got from the start. In terms of the pug, the heal is good, blow cloud is good. Give it nanite, give everything nanite, give everything, every unit needs nanite unless it, doesn't need nanite. But it's a really good mod. Resupply. If I was to use resupply on anything, I would always use resupply on the engineers, because what happens, you make a missile turret, you only get to make 1 per battle, you resupply, and guess what, you have 2 missile turrets. So very powerful, but I would definitely prefer an engineer over a pug if I had the choice. So when you want to stack, you want 3 support units. Those options are engineers, phase manipulators, or drone carriers. I don't really count the pug as a support unit, even though it kind of does do that. I just don't think it's as effective as the engineer. But there's an argument for it. Last but not least, or almost last, we have the drone carrier. So most people who I see, I haven't really seen that many people use the drone carrier. Most people don't really make it, but they use it completely wrong. Why I say that is that, well, firstly, try and get it to level 5 because shrug off is really powerful. Oops, sorry, hit the desk. Secondly, also that plus 5 accuracy is powerful. Secondly, in terms of mods, you have to make sure the only mods you give the drone carrier are mods that the actual drones can use. What do I mean by that? There are some mods here. So say, for example, SciTech. This mod, if you read the mod, in blue writing it has, this mod could only be applied to heavy units. What that means is that the drone carrier can have the mod. It can get the bonuses from the mod, but when you produce a drone, the drone doesn't get that mod, because the drone actually can't use our mod that can only be used for heavy units. So if you read this, launch a flying drone armed with the laser weapons, expires after 4 turns. The summon unit will inherit any compatible mods that do not grant an active ability. So even though it's a passive mod, it doesn't actually give you active abilities, the actual drone doesn't get it. So if I could give the drone carrier only one mod, I would give it this mod here, which is reactive plating, which whatever unit damages you, it takes 50% of that damage is reflected. So if you had to kill this drone carrier, let's say this one. If you had to kill this drone carrier, you're going to take 50% damage. So it's going to be 50 damage done to whoever trying to kill it. Now, obviously, if 4 different units try to kill it, then that's 50 damage spread across 4 different units. Why this is the most important mod is that the drones have 30 health. One of the weaknesses of the drone carrier is that if you make a drone and it dies before it can do anything, it's kind of useless. It shouldn't happen that way, but imagine it does. Once you have this mod, every drone that you make, the enemy is going to take 15 damage for killing it. Now, they either kill it and take that 15 damage, or they don't kill it and you get a drone alive that lasts for 4 turns. Now, this drone lasts for 4 turns, but the cooldown is every 2 turns. Now, why is that important? You can make, you can have more than one attack drone at once, and you can have more than one skirmisher drone. And if you make a drone every turn, like by turn 3, you have 3 drones, right? That's 3 things using abilities, but that's also 15 damage per drone that the enemy has to take. It's guaranteed. If they miss, if they don't hit the drone, they don't hit it, that's fine. But if they attack the drone and hit it, 15 damage. Every turn, make another drone, that's 15 damage they have to take. And it's also that drone can attack. Everything. That's where the drone carrier's true power comes in, at least I think personally. Also, these mods here, every time your drone attacks, remove that shield and remove that armor. Also, again, like with the tank, this has a chance to completely kill the unit. If not, it still does decent damage, but removing armor and removing shield debuffs the unit you're attacking for every other unit in your army to do more damage to it. Again, this just means that if it does get hit, it's just gonna guarantee damage. But if you only have one mod, these are very expensive, just stick with this mod. That's plenty. This is just bonus if you have the damage. If not, you can swap it around, you can make it do blind, you can make it do whatever you want. But just remember, do not give it a mod that can be only given to heavy units. So you can give it sequential kill if you want, give it stasis, but don't give it this, for example, or quantum. Alright, we only have a couple of units left. So where are we? We're at Vanguard. Echo Walker. I didn't really use this mod, this unit, sorry. It'd be easier to go here. So there is a technique, or there's a strategy with Voidtech and Vanguard where you use the Echo Walkers and you combine them with the jetpacks, which is it's a really cheap build that at the start of the game or the early stages of the game, you can kind of run your Echo Walkers, jetpack them to the back line, clone them around, take 2, maybe 3, and then you just demolish them. It is pretty powerful, but in terms of the build, it's not as effective as the combination of engineer, tank, and phase. And if you were to just build any of these, you're not having as many phase manipulators, which means your tanks aren't as well supported, which means it kind of just falls away. So it's decent, but not necessary at all. The other unit is a Rift Generator. I didn't make this one. I find with normal attacks, they're quite erratic, like it's very hard to hit. Dimensional Rift is okay. The most important part of this unit, I would say, is Dimensional Desync. So this means that if you do activate this ability and it's successful, the enemy can't do damage or it can't take damage. Now it can't take damage, which is fine, but if you Dimensional Desync one of their really powerful units, like one of the elite units or one of their strong heroes, then all of a sudden that hero's not doing anything for 2 turns. I honestly have no idea how to get rid of Dimensional Desync. I tried, I failed. I don't think that means you can't get rid of it, it just means I don't know how to do it. So if you do know how to get rid of Dimensional Desync, please let me know. That's it. One other thing for the engine for Vanguard, I will point out, the Walker is a very powerful unit. There is an argument to use it after you do get all the upgrades and you do start to unlock firearms. It is useful. One thing to point out, I didn't notice this, but the upgraded strike missile was a free action. I used to think this cost 3 action points. I don't know if this changed after the T-Rex patch, because this is the first time I've played Vanguard since the T-Rex patch came out. But this is stupid. Stupid in a good way. If you're Vanguard, you get you can hit twice, and if you put this ability on, it only has a 1-turn cooldown. Add it to Gatling gun, and you add in Predator. Pretty easy to kill something. And again, the same build for the tank. Instead of having lasers, you can have this for a lot of bonus damage, and you can also have Fire Burst. Give it Predator, give it the same Sci-Tech mod. So give it this mod, give it Predator, and give it 1 more damage mod. And similar to the tank, it just does a more AoE effect, whereas the tank does more single target damage, but it is still powerful. I think that's all the units. The last thing I'll touch on is the heroes. So for the heroes, we'll just pick another just generic hero. You build the heroes the exact same as you build your tanks. The only difference is you get an extra mod, obviously. I personally choose Shield Breaker because I want to destroy shield. Like for me, if I remove their shield and remove their armor, of the unit's going to do more damage. It's guaranteed to die. I don't have to worry about strength, chance of hitting anything. It's always going to do damage. So purely with the tanks, I just want to do max damage. In terms of skills, fairly generic skills. Prioritize ranged. Just prioritize anything that gives you damage. I'd say Vitality 3 is probably your biggest priority. Your tank just needs to have health and everything else will heal it. That's it. It will do a lot of damage, but just, get Vitality 3 first, keep it alive, and then just get whatever else you want for damage. The one other thing I should point out is that with your main hero, Ruthless Killer is the ability, it's a perk that you get at the start of the game when you choose which perks to give your commander. It's the perk, it's the military something perk. It's on the top, the first box, where you get a reduction to your military tech, which is awesome because you want to get laser finish as soon as you can. And more importantly, Ruthless Killer gives you 1 action point per kill. Now what else gives you 1 action point per kill? The Vanguard upgrade of sequential kill system. And does this stack? Yes, it does. So you can have 1 per kill, the whole time you have this hero. Once you slap this mod on, all of a sudden you get 1 kill, you got 2 extra action points. And once you get, 45% damage, 2 extra action points, all of a sudden you can do about 60 damage, 50, 60 damage with those 2 action points. And remember, if you've already hit them and you're hitting the same unit, that unit has, less shield, less armor, and it's probably going to die. So your heroes are essentially just stronger versions of your tanks. And you can give them skills to push that strength even further, like way, way further. Also Martial Inspiration, give it some crit chance, give it some, Deadeye, and yeah, Void Bullets as well, really powerful. Ignores penalties from cover. They can't hide, as long as you hit the shot, you hit them. That's pretty much it for the Vanguard Void Tech build. So call it the Void Tank, extremely powerful. Yeah, Extreme AI didn't stand a chance. Kind of feel bad, kind of don't, but that's the build. And yeah, Foxxeel out. I'll catch you in the next episode. If there are any combinations you want me to see, or you want me to try, or even anything, just let me know in the comments. I'm more than always interested to hear what people think, or how they play the game, or what you think Vanguard's best combination is. Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Foxxeel out.